CQ 20 meters. CQ 20, CQ 20, CQ 20 meters. Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, calling CQ, CQ.
WA1SLD calling.
The Whiskey Alpha 1 again, please.
Whiskey Alpha 1, Sierra Lima Delta. Name here is Jerry, over.
Okay, Jerry, fine business. Thanks for coming back to the CQ. Just got out here and wanted to see how the band was this afternoon. We do appreciate you coming back. The handle here is Randy, Romeo Alpha November Delta Yankee. We're 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Out playing radio this afternoon, and we're live on YouTube. Go ahead.
Roger that, Randy. QTH here is Massachusetts. Name of the town is Norton, and located in southeastern Mass. And you're about 10 over here. A nice sounding signal, strong. Running about 800 watts PET into a vertical antenna. It's ground mounted. And the radiating element is about 43 feet in height. So I'll copy this station, Randy.
Oh, fine business, Jerry. No problem. 59 plus. I think there's a little noise on the band. We were tootling around earlier looking for an open spot, and it seems like there's a little noise, but no problems copying you. Yeah, we got a good signal on you, and fine business. I guess the location would kind of put you, if memory serves, kind of north and east of Providence, Roger?
North and east of Providence. Yes, that would be QSL on that one. And let's see, what else do we have here? Just came in from raking up a lot of leaves out there. Nice sunny day for a change. God, it feels good to be out there. Give me a call again, please.
Yeah, you bet. The call is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo.
All right, K0RWB, WA1SLD. Okay, fine business on that. I'm gonna wind up doing some more work tomorrow, but I'm calling it an afternoon today. The arch of my foot's killing me. That plantar fasciitis. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a real pain. So back to you, Randy, K0RWB, WA1SLD. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, fine business. Yeah, we had that years past, and it is no fun. They even put us in a boot temporarily for a couple of weeks. I don't know, I guess it helped a little bit, but, when you've got things you got to get done, you can't really sit still. We certainly understand that. And, yeah, we've got a nice day here as well. We've been lucky the last 4 or 5. Has been pretty nice. Temperatures have really shot up, and we went from sub-zero to middle of summer, it seems like. But apparently Mother Nature's got something up its sleeve, and we're going to start that slow downhill slide the next couple of days with a whole bunch of rain, but we could use it as well there, Roger.
Oh, yeah. Okay, K0RWB, WA1SLD. Okay, Randy. Yeah, it's going to be warmer the next, 4 days or so. Each day is going to get a little bit warmer. We expect, let's see, tomorrow being Wednesday, Thursday being the warmest. Tomorrow's supposed to be a super day, too. But Thursday is supposed to be the pick of the week, and Friday is also supposed to be nice. And I'll tell you, we have some weird weather out here. It's when the sky is gray, and it's like in the upper 30s or so, and it's damp out, and it lasts for days. Just solid gray sky. I can't take it. I really hate it. I don't mind it in the summertime because it's warm, but this time of the year when the sky is gray, you don't see the sun for maybe sometimes 3-4 days at least. We've had periods of time where we didn't see it for 2 weeks, and it's really depressing. Back to you, over.
Yeah, fine business. Check your VFO. You may have bumped it. You just got chipmunk on me. You may have bumped it just a tad there. Still able to copy, but I've done it myself as well. Just wanted you to check that as well. But yeah, like you said, when you get the weather, you got to take advantage of it. The way it's been the last 7 or 8 weeks. If we get something that's halfway decent that we can get outside, we try to do that. But we try to take a couple hours in the afternoons here, usually about 2 o'clock Central, we try to get on here and we do a live stream on YouTube. We have people that check in like yourself and talk about whatever they want. And of course, it's being recorded. A lot of people like to check their audio later on, see how they sound over the air. It's kind of a neat deal. That's what we did months ago. How we got started because we weren't sure how we sounded, and I still think we sound terrible. But anyhow, it's audible. But that's what we've been doing. Usually here on 20 meters, having a good time. We get a chance to make some new contacts, and boy, it never fails. The upper New England states, your QTH and up, you guys always have good signals. It was a little rough last week, but boy, sure come back yesterday and so far today. So it's nice to see the band is open, and you've had a really nice strong signal the whole time there. Go ahead.
Okay, K0RWB WA1SLD. Okay, I just turned on my scope here so I can get an idea what this signal's doing here. Oops, there we go. Come on, come up there. I'm just watching my audio modulate the carrier. Okay, yeah, you're sounding good. There's no problem here at all. None at all. I usually get good audio reports on this rig here. This is the Kenwood TS590S. And I'm using an Ameritron linear amplifier and putting out 800 watts PET into, I think I mentioned it to you, into a vertical antenna, ground mounted with about 15 radios buried in the ground. And the base of the antenna is about 8 inches off the ground with the MFJ antenna tuner right next to it. So that works out pretty well. I'd like to try this microphone that came with this rig. Right now I've got this desktop mic that I'm using, and hold on for a second. I think you'll find there's a big difference. I was watching my scope the other day. I plugged it in and went, whoa! It looked like it was probably over-modulating the carrier, but hold on one.
Yeah, no problem, Jerry. We'll give you a second here to get the microphones changed over. Again, that's kind of the neat thing about the live stream. You'll get to listen to both on the playback, and you can decide if you want to do any tweaks or any adjustments. So that's kind of how we got this thing going there. Go ahead.
All right, how does this sound? Wow, I can see it really. Looks like I'm overdoing it. So back to you, Randy.
Well, there's a distinct difference. I guess if you were trying to work DX, I would probably run that. It doesn't have a full range of fidelity, just basically a little bit of mids and highs. Not quite as full featured, I would say, as the prior microphone. But I mean, it's certainly audible. But yeah, it would be like listening from an FM station to AM there, Roger.
Okay, yeah, I was using the Heil mic. Right now I'm using it's a mobile mic that came with the Kenwood. Very sensitive, and I adjusted the audio for the Heil mic in the rig. You know how you can go to all those settings. So if I wanted to use this mic and get the audio quality the way it probably sounds good, I'd have to make some adjustments. But I'm going to just leave it as is. And you say this? Do you think this would be better for working DX possibly, right? Yeah,
you definitely. It's a little crisper. If that makes any sense to you, it definitely has a little bit more of a high-end punch. It's not quite as full. I call a full fidelity like a rag 2 type setting. It's not doesn't have quite the punch as maybe something that's a little bit narrower, which sounds like the second mic that you're using certainly has that. But I mean, we run a PR781 on the setup here, and we have it set up wide from 100 to 2900. But if we wanted to try to get some pilot or something, we would narrow it down as well a little bit. But like I said, it's still audible. Both of them were definitely audible. They're both easy to listen to, but you can just tell that the second mic has just a little bit more punch to it there, Roger.
Okay, yeah, well, I'd have to adjust the speech compressor for the Heil mic, but I'll just leave it the way it is for now. And maybe I will, maybe in a little while, maybe I'll adjust it. Okay, fine business. That's all from here. I thought I heard you call and seek you, and so was I, on the lower frequencies, and no go. I don't know. Nobody wants to talk to me. I guess that's just the way it is sometimes. K0RWB WA1SLD.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case, Jerry. K0RWB. It just kind of a happenstance. Last week, 20 wasn't in very good shape, so we actually dropped down on 40 meters for a couple of days, and you know, you call, and then you hear something in the distance, and you have a short queue because the conditions aren't so good, and then you clear, and then there's 15 or 20 stations standing by. So I mean, that's okay. You know, I'm not the greatest person working a pileup. You grab them the best you can and what have you. But and like I said, anyway, give a listen. Just go to YouTube and type in my call in the search window, and go back and listen to your audio yourself, Jerry. I mean, you know your voice better than anybody, and I can certainly give you an idea if you want to do any adjustments or not, or leave them the way they are. Roger.
Roger that. Okay, fine business. Okay, I guess I'll say 73s, and I'll look into the YouTube thing. I don't have my phone or my computer down here. Everything's upstairs. Mainly, I don't want the damnedest to hurt anything. But I'll leave the rig down here, if that makes any sense. Rig's pretty good, though. It can hack anything, and all the equipment and stuff down there is not too bad. All right, we'll say 7-3, see you there. I think I'll go back upstairs and catch up on some work I got to do. So, see you later, Randy. K0RWB, WA1SLD, off and clear, standing by for your photo.
Yeah, okay, Jerry. Thanks for giving us a call. Enjoyed the QSO. Nice to work you there. And I don't think I've ever worked, quite in that part of the world per se, but nice to work you today. And calling CQ works sometimes, but hey, we got a nice QSO today. I don't show a contact in the log, so I appreciate the first one. And like I said, we're generally out here during the week, 2:00 Central Time. If you hear us, come back in, stop in and say hi. We'll pick it up where we left off, or whatever's on your mind that day. So no worries. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good week coming up as well. Whiskey Alpha 1, Sierra Lima Delta, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, Randy in Kansas City. We'll be clear, my friend. 7-3s.
Yep, 7-3s, Randy.
And this is K0RWB, QRZ. Any stations anywhere?
November 7, Echo Lima. November 7, Echo Lima.
Radio Bravo.
November 7, Echo Lima. Elmer, how you doing this afternoon?
Well, we're doing real fine. We're in Arizona, and you are 5-7 on the last transmission, over.
Well, that's pretty good considering it's on the back side of the beam. I'm going to see if I can bring it around and have you come up in my receive, and hopefully I'll come up in yours as well there. But we appreciate you giving us a call this afternoon, Roger.
Roger. And what's your handle?
Name here is Randy. Romeo Alpha November Delta Yankee. QTH is 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri. And you definitely came up that time. You're a good solid 5 and 9. And welcome to YouTube Live. Go ahead.
Okay. Very, very good. Yeah, you're also 5 and 9 on the last transmission. You came up to a good solid 5-9 there, Randy. Yeah, very, very good. And okay, I heard you talking to the last gentleman there and about your YouTube thing. Very, very good. I've heard myself a couple of times, and all the way from Belgium. On my other rig is Elecraft K3. This rig I'm using is ICOM 7300, running barefoot to a vertical. Over.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, Elmer, on a running barefoot vertical. Of course, the 7300s have a very nice audio to them. We have one of those as well that we have in an alternate location. And we also use it in portable work, but they do have a terrific audio punch to them. And I copied the vertical. I'm not sure if you're running a stock mic or a different microphone, but boy, terrific audio, especially for 100 watts. Roger.
Okay, well, thank you for the comments. Yeah, this is the stock microphone that came with the 7300, and I was watching your Spectrum display here, and looks like you're pretty good across the spectrum. I know quite a few fellas, when they operate, they have too many lows and no highs, but you have a good amount of highs, which gives you the punch and the breakthrough, especially for DX. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, we're still getting the microphone and the radio. We're still getting to know each other, so to speak. The rig's a Yaesu FTDX10, and the mic is a PR781. So we're still doing some adjustments in the rig, a little bit here and there, but I think we're getting close. It doesn't sound the same in the headphones as it does on the playback, of course, but I'm not a very good a critic of my own voice, other than I just don't like listening to myself. Funny a man would say that, wouldn't you? But but anyway, yeah, we're getting there. We're enjoying it, and I think everybody else as well. There, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, my other rig here, the K3, way I had it set up with the Heil, the Pro headset, using the Heil condenser microphone, I had it set up so everything was cut off below 400 hertz. I think I was down about 3 dB at 400, and by the time you get down to 100, it was down minus 16 dB. So everything was chopped below 400, which is the way it should be for communications, for the best articulation. You don't want anything. And then on the high end, I had a slight boost. I think at 2400, I had a boost of about 3 dB or something like that. But anyway, that would get me through. And using my vertical, I could work DX all day long, no problem, on 20 or 15, and worked out real fine. Also good on 6 meters. So, by the way, the vertical antenna here is not ground mounted. The base of the vertical is about 7 feet above the ground and running 2 radios, quarter wavelength long. Over.
Yeah, well, it's working, no doubt. Yeah, you know, I've talked to lots of operators running the 7300, and interesting how they're set up on the transmit audio. I'm just curious what you have mic gain set at, and your compression, and I'll also be curious what your transmit bass and treble is set up as well. Go ahead.
I would have to go into the menus and check and see what I have set up. I know I have things cut off again below around 400, but I can't remember how I have the rest of it set up on the audio. As far as compression is concerned, I'm not using very much. I believe I'm only running about maybe 3 dB, maybe 4, somewhere around there. Not a lot of compression. Over. Yeah,
5 minutes. I was running my 7300 about 20% mic gain. Number 1 for compression, plus 3 for bass, and plus 4 for treble on the transmit audio, and that seemed to work pretty well. I had an ICM, a Heil ICM microphone with that as well on the boom, and it worked quite well. I will say this: I love the 7300. The receive gets a little overloaded from time to time with stations close by, and you know, that can be a little troublesome. You start off with a clear band, and about 10 minutes into operating, you know, you got stations on both sides of you, so it can get a little overwhelmed from time to time, and you know, doesn't hurt the radio much per se, but and I wish it had an external monitor feature. I think that's really huge. This radio does. That was one of the things that we really did like about it, having the external monitor feature, and the receive filtering is a little bit tighter as well. It helps a little bit on close by stations, but the 7300 has sold tons and tons of radios, and it has for a reason. Terrific radio for a great price point, and allows you to do lots of things on it as well there, Roger.
Yeah, well, you know, as far as the price is concerned on the 7300, especially if it's on sale, for like $1,000 or sometimes $1,000, including a power supply that's thrown in by HRO. Yeah, you can't beat that. There are rigs that run $2,000 and $3,000 that are not that much better. They have an awful lot of bells and whistles, but as far as performance is concerned, they're not a heck of a lot better. And that's what I look at is the performance. I couldn't care less about all the bells and whistles. In fact, this is the first rig that I have a Spectrum display on. That's something that was never something that I needed, even though I've been operating ham radio for, oh boy, this July will be over 60 years. No. Yeah, 70 years, I'm sorry. 70 years this July 1st or 2nd will be 70 years since I've been hamming. And I couldn't have cared less about a Spectrum scope, even though I worked in the aerospace industry for years, and we always had Spectrum monitors and so on our telemetry receivers. But for ham radio, it's never something that I needed. Over.
Yeah, we kind of started off that way as well, and then with the 7300 having the Spectrum scope and the waterfall, it can make things simpler. It does help eliminate where there's some dead air, so to speak. Maybe that's a positive or a negative, depends on the certain conditions, of course. But I find myself looking at it more than I probably should now. This radio has the scope as well, and also the 3D waterfall, which we're still getting used to. But yeah, it's just it's the advance in technology. The filtering, I think, has gotten better. The DNRs, the noise blank, and so forth has certainly got a little better. Again, the receivers can get overloaded quite easily with stations close by. I noticed that over the weekend during the contest. So nice to be able to narrow it down a little bit and kind of filter some of it out so you can kind of hear the other stations a little clearer. But that's what it is. But yeah, the end result is to get on the air, make contacts, have a good audible quality at the same time, and make many contacts as you can there. K0RWB, back to you.
Okay, this is N7EL. Yeah, Randy, well, over the years I've been a DXer. In fact, practically my entire ham radio, I've been a DXer, but I'm a small pistol, not a big gun. I've always been a small pistol. I do have an Ameritron amplifier right next to me, which is not on, an AL811H, so I can run up to about 800 watts PEP. And I also have a Heathkit SB200 linear, which I rebuilt, modified, and improved on. And I use that, would you believe, I use that with my Elecraft K3. And I use that for working FT8. I just worked, a couple of days ago, Kenya. Let's see, it was 5Z4 Victor Juliet. I worked him in Kenya, 9,400 miles with my vertical and running 200 watts. Over.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, no doubt. Well, when the conditions are good, you can talk anywhere on minimal wattage, and if the conditions are bad, you can't talk across the street. Go figure. But yeah, we certainly have seen those days, and they're kind of few and far between. But boy, when the days are in there, it makes it a real joy to be on the air for sure. Yeah, listen, we're gonna move on here a little bit, see if we can make a few more contacts, Elmer. But I'm glad you gave me a call there, especially on the backside of the beam. That's what I like about that hex beam. Not the best front to rear rejection, but I think it's a bonus because we were 180 off, and I was able to hear you, and you were able to hear me. But when I come around, you've been solid 5.9 and 5.9 plus. So I know it's definitely working, and nice to work. Yeah, I guess you're kind of around the Chandler area there, Arizona, so to speak. Kind of get a fairly idea where you're at there, but enjoyed talking with you. I don't see a contact on my log, so I thank you for the first one. And we are out here usually during the week, generally about 2 o'clock Central for a few hours or until the band dies. So if you hear us again, give us a call back, and we'll just kind of pick it up where we left off. But I'll say 7-3s. I'll do my part and let you finish it. November 7, Echo Lima, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. Randy, go ahead.
Okay, Randy, very good. This is N7EL. Yeah, on the previous transmission, you had peaked up about 10 over, on occasion up to about 15 over. So very, very good on the previous transmission. This last transmission, you were down to a peaking 9. S9, but it's been solid QSO all the way. Really appreciate it. And by the way, we're in Queen Creek. Chandler is to the west of us about 18 miles, something like that. Yeah, we're in Queen Creek, which is in the southeast portion of the greater metropolitan Phoenix. So that gives you an idea where we are. We're near what's known as the Santan Mountains. That's in the southeast portion of the metropolitan area. 73, good luck to you and have fun. This is N7EL Clear. Bye.
Okay, Elmer, appreciate it. Again, thanks for coming back, and hope to have a chance to work you again. We'll say 7-3s for now. We'll go ahead and clear with it. This is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, Randy, Kansas City. Looking for any stations anywhere. Any stations here on the West Coast, QRZ.
Kilo 1, Golf Hotel Charlie.
The Kilo 1 again, please.
Kilo 1, Golf Hotel Charlie.
Okay, nice signal. Kilo 1, Golf Hotel Charlie. George, how are you doing this afternoon? Boy, you're on the backside of my beam, too. Let me bring that back around there. Go ahead.
Randy, I just got a phone call. I've got to get back to you. It's kind of important. I'm going to try you after your next QSO, okay?
Yeah, no.
K1 GHC clear.
Okay, George, no problem. We'll go ahead and clear, and we'll just go ahead and break. K0RWB, we'll try QRZ again.
Alpha 1, Italy Alpha.
Alpha 1 again, please.
Alpha 1, Italy Alpha.
Yeah, I know that call. Alpha 1, Italy Alpha. Mark, give me a second. You're on the backside of the beam. Let me bring this thing around. Hopefully you'll come up in my receive, and I'll do the same for you. How are things going this afternoon over on the Atlantic side? Go ahead.
Look at this beautiful display on my YouTube television screen here. All kinds of beautiful Yaesu display. It looks like I'm looking at my own FT101MP readout here, man. It's beautiful. Look at this. I'm totally impressed, and I hope the FTDX10 is working out for you. What do you think so far? Over?
Yeah, well, appreciate it, Mark. And yeah, I've got your page pulled up. Apparently you do as well. But yeah, aren't they terrific? It was a toss of a coin between the 101 and the 10. My other Yaesu had dual VFOs and receivers, and I never did use it. And I thought, the extra money for the 101 could be used elsewhere, and so we decided to go with the FTDX10. And it's a nice step up, no doubt. I do have a 7300. I started with that in January, but it didn't have the external monitor feature, which, as you can tell, and you've already commented, is really huge. I think it's a terrific add-on. I wouldn't surprise if ICOM does it later. And the receiver's a little bit tighter. I'll have to say that. They've done a nice job, and I think your rig and mine are probably running that same receiver setup as well. And it really does you can actually filter out the overload there, and we're very impressed with it. I think the setup so far has been good. We've got a PR781 microphone with it. We've got it fairly well dialed in, Mark. So I think it's a home run, and I'm sure the 101 you're enjoying that as well, Roger.
Oh, 100%, 100%, Randy. I was wondering, I have two questions for you. First, number one, I've got this configured since I'm on the YouTube setup. I've just got this configured in my DX mode, which is my M-100 microphone, which is, I've got it set up for kind of DX mode, and plus I've got the processor set up on about 25%. So I'm driving it pretty good, right up to 200 watts. And I'm just kind of wondering what it sounds like, and kind of looking at it on my scope, and I'm kind of watching it on your scope, and just taking advantage of the little service you provide here, man. And I'm very grateful, making an old buzzer transmission so I can do like I do when I play a gig on the drums, and I record that and I see how bad or good I did. Over.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about technology, how far it's come and so forth. If you'd have told me in November, December, when we kind of got back on the air, that I would be doing this now, I would have said you're crazy. But your neighbor, of course, Alex, down in Cutler Bay, a bunch of contacts with him, kind of like what you and I are doing. And we talk, I don't know, at least once a week or thereabouts. I've got to look back in the log, but a little bit of coaxing on his part, and being central U.S. versus the coast, we both hear and are able to talk to different stations. So it's kind of a neat deal, and we're enjoying it, Mark. It's just one of those things that it just kind of grows on you, and I'm not saying that people are waiting or looking for me to be out here on the air, but it's nice to talk with some folks that we've had contacts with back before, and for them to take the time to do that, So it's kind of a cool deal, and I do like the multi-display. Actually, I should be doing that more often, because you can kind of look and see what the spectrum looks like from lows, mids, and highs, and of course yours is dialed right in. I wouldn't change a thing. I think it's absolutely awesome, and you have to tell me again, remind me again on the microphone. I think you said the 101, but yeah, I wouldn't change a thing, brother. Of course, it's probably the same as last time there, Roger.
Yeah, I run the M-100, and I'm getting ready to upgrade. But this is the Yaesu. I guess it's the matching microphone for the 101 MP. Now I just switched it up a little bit. I pulled the cone off that they have this cone that fits over it that kills all the lows for DXing, and I brought the processor off, and this is how I usually run this setup, and I'm just more than tickled about this rig. Very happy with it. I had one more question for you before I let you go. I was wondering how Yaesu on the FTDX10, if they run a digital noise reduction switch, a DNR switch on that radio, and does it work as drastically awesome as it does on my radio? Over.
Yeah, Mark, it does, and it's actually adjustable. I think yours as well. If you hold the DNR button down, it should, it won't do it while I'm transmitting, but you hold it down and it's adjustable. I think I have it set on setting 3 currently. So yeah, like I said, I think the setups, the menus might be a little different between the two rigs, but I think everything else on the receive side and the transmit side are pretty close. Another station that's in just outside of Nashville runs a 101, and we were talking the other night, and I actually he gave me his transmit settings, and I put that into this rig, and I just made one small adjustment on mid-range, and this is where we're at. So I think they're pretty close. But yeah, the DNR is very effective on these rigs, Roger.
Well, very good. Yeah, out of the box, I thought the audio was just terrible out of this thing, and was many times it was terrible. So I had to get into it, and I widened up the audio. I brought the audio right out to almost 4 KC wide, and I don't know. I think it's at 3 1/4 or something like that right now, and that just seems to be comfortable for the mic and comfortable for the radio. And I got in and I tailored the audio of the microphone and left in other words, I bypassed the EQ of the radio itself, and I'm just going straight by. What am I trying to say? I bypassed the EQ of the radio, and I'm just going straight through the microphone right into the transmitter.
Yep, you know, mine's pretty close to that. I don't have mic EQ on. I never really could get it dialed in that I thought was satisfactory with the EQ on. So we got it. We had a little bit better success with EQ off. That's what we're doing right now. Processing's about 20. The AMC I think is around 40, and we're running about 35 on mic gain. So, you know, not drastic numbers. We're letting the microphone do the work. I mean, that's the whole idea of spending the money for these microphones. So we're letting it do the work, and maybe a little bit of the voice as well, Roger.
No, it frickin' sounds beautiful, man. It looks so nice on the scope too. You know, a lot of these guys, they run it and they don't have enough mids in there, and it sounds like it sounds like a D104 and every time you talk, you're rattling a bottle full of nuts and bolts as you're talking, you know. But that sounds nice. You got a lot of nice mids. You got a nice full tone, and if you watch your oscilloscope as you're talking, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know, we try to do that. Again, you know, if you went by what you heard in the headphones, I don't think you'd ever. I'd never get it straight. So by watching the scope a little bit, and you know, the software that I use for live stream can also basically record. I call it in-house, or I can record off of a dummy load. So I can play around with my audio settings and adjust it. But again. Terrence the other night, he was very instrumental in where we're at today, and using his 101 settings, like I said earlier, and but never could get it to work with the EQ on, and that's okay. Maybe somebody else could. It doesn't really matter. The idea is to get on the air and make contacts and have at least be audible where people can understand you, Mark. There, Roger. AA1 Alpha, Indy Alpha, K0RWB. Back to you, sir.
Right, AA1IA, Daytona Beach, Florida. Yeah, very good, Randy. And I noticed that you've defaulted more or less to the view that most of the Yaesu owners like, as far as they don't seem to stick with the 3D view very much. They, you know, it's all bells and whistles, and it looks nice for about a half hour or an hour, or maybe if you put it up on the big display, it looks all fancy, but it's basically useless. And the 2D display is where all the information is, and where you can see all your, you know, where I can see my audio and where I can see your audio, and you know, I just love the way they laid out the 2D display on this thing. It's just fabulous, and it's so sensitive, and it's good to see that they kept the display, and looks like they kept up the sensitivity on the display with the FTDX10.
Yeah, I think they did. I was wondering when Yaesu was going to come up with some new products. You know, when the 7300 hit the market, it just took off. And it's a great rig. Don't get me wrong. I said I've got one, and I enjoy using it. It just has a few different features that this has. This has a few different features that it does not have. I wish I wish this radio was at their price point, but it's just not. It probably will over time, but it's just not. But again, putting the scope and the information on the rig information on the live stream. Again, I've been fortunate, Mark, the last couple of weeks, talked to some new operators with new radios, and they're like, "Hey, can you help me? Give a listen. What do you think?" And by using this, I'm not saying it's a public service announcement type of thing, but hey, that's what we all do. That's what the ham community does, is try to help each other. Terrence the other night helped me with these settings, and you just kind of pay it forward. And we're just, like I said, we're having a great time doing this. Maybe some people are getting something out of it. I hope so. It's probably not the excitable content that maybe some other YouTubers have. But people in amateur radio certainly understand what we're trying to get accomplished. At least I like to think so. And those that do, are the ones that usually, check back in from time to time, see how things going and so forth. And you build friendships and relationships that way. Roger?
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. And I sure do appreciate you letting me QSO with you and getting some audio time on YouTube here, and also getting some fellowship time here with your awesome station and your FTBX 10, which is an amazing radio, man. It's just amazing. I probably would have bought a DX10 if, saved myself a whopping ton of cash. But hey, what the heck? Nice working you today, brothers. If you need prayer for anything, you let me know, and I'll turn it over to you for the final. I'm sure we'll catch you in there soon. Let's see, K0RWB 73 and good day, AA1IA.
Yeah, Mark, always a pleasure. Like I said, I'm glad that I was able to hear you. You were able to hear me on the back side of the beam, and when I brought it around, you came up. I mean, the band's moving around a little bit, but you're wavering 5'9", 5'7", 5'9", but still no problems hearing you. I mean, I'm watching the scope, same as you. We know exactly where your highs and your lows are at, so that's a cool thing. Always a pleasure, brother. Anytime, anywhere, give me a holler, and we'll pick it up where we left off. Always a pleasure. Hope things are going well over there in the Daytona Beach area, and look forward to the next time around. And I'm sure it won't be too long. Knowing you and getting on the air is the key, so I'm sure we'll do this again real soon. I'll see you 7-3s, brother, and till we meet again. Alpha 1, India Alpha, Iowa. I guess that's what it would have been. This is K0RWB, Randy, Kansas City. I'll be clear. Thanks again, Mark.
Bike week, Randy. Bike week, 7-3.
Yeah, bike week. Okay. Yeah, 7-3. This is K0RWB, Randy in Kansas City, QRZ.
Kilo 1, Golf Hotel Charlie.
Kilo 1, Golf Hotel Charlie. George, how are you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, Randy. Sorry about that. My phone hadn't rung in hours, and of course, as soon as I made contact with you, wouldn't you know it, I was trying to get my telephone fixed, and that was the repair service, so it was kind of important. But no, I just wanted you to know, Randy, you're booming in here into Southwest New Hampshire, and you already know my name, but just looking at your QRZ page and watching you live stream, it seems to be a little bit of a delay there. I'm guessing maybe 30 or 40 seconds over.
Yeah, I think they do that on purpose. And of course, you're going to the radio, then you're going to the computer. It has to hit the internet, my server, my router, and so on and so forth. And I guess that's kind of plays it out. Actually, it's probably a good thing to have a little bit of delay, because sometimes I'm hitting the wrong screen, the wrong button, and I need that time to go back again. So, but it is what it is. Yeah, you're 20 over as well, just like sitting right here. Man, I have to tell you, I love that picture in the shack there. I've got, of course, you'll see it here in a second. And yeah, tell me what you think of the 3D waterfall. I'm still confused. So tell me what you think of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's I used it once, and that was to take that picture. Hi. And that photo's a little outdated. I'm now using the PR40. I just updated that. I guess it was probably about 3 or 4 days ago. Over.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that on the second pic there on the shack pics? Is that it there?
No, I don't have it in the pictures. Right? Like I said, I just put this up. I just put the PR40 on. I had a desk mic. I put the PR10 desk mic, and I put it on a boom. It was doing fine, but I thought I'd upgrade the microphone to kind of suit the radio. And I'm just curious, how does my audio sound on your end? Over.
Oh man, it's like sitting right here. Honestly, really is. And that's a solid 20 signal. It didn't waver one bit. Now we're running the 781 on this. But yeah, yours it is. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an audio person by trade. It's right in front of me. If that makes any sense, it's just boom right there, full flavored, as I like to say. And I don't think I've had a signal like that in a while. So we certainly do have a pipeline. You know, it's interesting that the second picture here, all the equipment in such a small space, you've got it organized so well with the rotor there, the speaker. I mean, I don't know if you've seen I can't get this table any narrower, but boy, you've got that thing really compact. That's a pretty nice little setup there, Roger.
Yeah, if you notice, I had to buy a little extension table off to the right side there, so I could hold the ACOM there, and it all seems to work pretty well. I've got to the left of that, maybe in another photograph there, but I've got all of my computers and everything. I like to do weather reports and all. But the microphone and the settings, I bought the Yaesu only because a couple of friends of mine who are really into audio and all of that, I mean, they're experts, and they're also ham radio guys. One of them happens to be a retired electronics engineer who specialized in audio, believe it or not, down in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And he helped me set it up. They actually spent over an hour with me going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is where they said, lock it in and save it to the memory card. Over. Yeah,
well, if you're watching the stream and you can see the scope there, you'll see where you're just about where your mids, highs, and lows are coming in at. So that would help you as well. I don't know if you caught the last go around or not, but last week my friend Terrence out of Knoxville has a 101. And we were talking on 40 meters. He goes, let's try some. He said, I'm going to give you my settings in my rig, and let's try it. And I said, okay. So we kind of lost each other on the air, so we got on the phone, and I put those settings in. And I did go back and make one small change in the mids a little bit. I just added just a little bit to what about 1 or 2 settings off of what his were. Otherwise, I left everything alone. And this is with EQ off. This is not with the EQ on. I could not get it to sound worth the darn with EQ on. And so this is off. And when I listened to it the first time on playback, I said, well, that sounds like me. Because before, it sounded really kind of tinny, in a tin can kind of thing. And I said, I just can't imagine people on the other end wanting to listen to me. But this is about as close as what I actually sound in person. And I'm the same way. We lock the settings down. It's on the SD card, and so we know we've got them saved as well, Roger.
Yeah, I got to say, Randy, your audio is fantastic. And I came very close to buying that microphone. And I don't know why. I had a couple of different options that I was looking at. One of them had to be a German microphone company. I know I'm going to mispronounce it, but Neumann or something like that. But the BCM 705, which is what these guys were suggesting. And until I started to look at the price of it, I think the damn thing was $700. So then they just said, go right to the Heil products. You know, I've got the PR10 already. Try the PR40. And I was very happy with it. And you should be too with that microphone. You sound fantastic, which is exactly why I was attracted to, I was looking at the spectrum and you were just booming in here. And then, of course, when I dialed in, that audio just caught me. It's absolutely fantastic. Over.
Yeah.
You're also using a hex beam. I'm just curious what I heard you say you're using a hex beam anyhow. What are you using for hex beam? Over.
Yeah, I appreciate the flowers there. The hex beam is NA4R, Roger Rockwell out of Pensacola. We got that January 2012. And yeah, we bring it down once a year. It's on a tilt-over base, and just for inspection purposes, make sure everything's where it should be, and the connectors are tight and that kind of stuff. But wouldn't trade it for anything. Honestly, wouldn't. I know there's bigger and better, more gain and elements and so on and so forth, but this does exactly what I want. No, I understand about the microphone. When I went over 2 weeks ago, we were well very fortunate, I'll have to say. I mean, I know there's R&L and Gigaparts and HRO and so on and so forth, but we have our own amateur radio store here in the metro, so you get a chance to touch, look, and feel instead of going by a picture on a computer screen. And I've bought 5 radios from the owner. His name is Dan, except for this one, and so he didn't give me too much of a hard time. And I brought the radio over there, and I said the microphone I was using, which was an Audio Technica, did not drive it worth a darn. And so he pulled out a bunch of mics. We had a Heil Goldline Elite, the Heil HM12, the PR40, and the PR781. And I got to try all of those on my cable, my equipment, on a dummy load, brought even my own headphones. And this by far drove it and was able to get us a little bit more fidelity. So then it's a matter of going home and tweaking the transmit audio. You know, the parasitics are pretty touchy, and you can get out of whack in a hurry. But yeah, we're very happy with the purchase, and so he still got my money. He just didn't get the big money there, Roger.
Yeah. Roger. There's a guy trying to cut in. He was saying Q0RWB. Just want to make you aware. This is your station, your frequency. But anyhow, all good. Randy, again, beautiful audio. I just had to say something, and love that setup you have and the hex beam. You can't beat the hex beam with that audio and with your signal here. Oh, by the way, what are you pushing for power? Over.
Well, it just so happens I have an ACOM 1000 that I bought in December. From a friend of mine who works for HRO in Plano, Texas. It was about 6 months old at the time, so it was a very nice discount at the time on a Saturday. And I basically said, well, you know, I'll give it till Monday, you know, kind of hash it around. And he says, well, this weekend we're offering free shipping and no sales tax, so that's about a $600 savings. And I said, here's my credit card. So we're just about $750, $780 on peak, sir, Roger.
Oh yeah, Roger. Yeah, that'll run all day long at that. On my end, I've got the Alpha power meter. I think I'm pushing about 1,200 watts. Of course, it'll do legal limit all day as well. They're just a beautiful amp, and just love them. But I should say that with that power and your hex beam, my experience has always been with the hex beam, they're pile-up busters. If you've got like Antarctica going or something like that, it's not on my first call, usually on my second call, and I attribute that to the hex beam. Over.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Matter of fact, this weekend's contest, the operators out of Curacao, there was HH4 and there's HJ2 and so forth. I think we got most of them, and it generally the amp generally sits right around 7 to 750. And you know, about the third time, of course, a pileup, I get it. The third time with no luck, so I turned up the exciter a little bit to so it would run right at 1 kilowatt. And instead of trying to get in right in the beginning of the Q0RWB, we waited for all the pile up and blah, 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 and it started to filter down, and then we throw back in. And I'm not saying that made a difference with the wattage, but it sure made difference on the timing there, Roger.
Yeah, you got it. You got it exactly right. It's all in the timing. You don't want to jump in where everybody else is, and you're right. You got to jump in with some power. And but the hex beam's all good. I've had this is my third hex beam. I bought a no names mentioned hex beam made somewhere else. And here in New Hampshire, we have very high winds. Last week they were 52, 54 miles an hour. we get ice and snow and all of that, and the defect mode on the hex beams when they fail is the square tubing where it attaches to the plastic before it goes in the base plate. And it happened to me twice, and I started to look around, and lo and behold, there was a hex beam manufacturer here in New Hampshire, of all places, making a heavy-duty one. I think what's the name of it? VHQ, very high-quality hex, VHQ hex, and he guarantees them for life. And the problem, Randy, is, you know, if you've got these things high up on a tower, the expense of the hex is nothing compared to what it costs to, you know, get it up there, pull it down, and all new cables and all of that stuff. So it's done. I think it's done for good. I don't think I have to ever worry about it again. And it's been hit with some high winds and snow and ice, and it just didn't even blink. Over.
Yep, it's pretty. That's really about how it works. I did make my own ice cords, and when I taught with Roger, that was a nice thing. I mean, it's 2012, and I called him on 2 different occasions, and we talked for a good 20 to 25 minutes, and you would have thought I was the only guy in the world. But I had some questions, and he had all the answers. He has all the replacement parts, and at that time, it was $500 shipped to my door. I mean, that's definitely a poor man's beam. It's basically a two-element Yagi. And even now, I went to his website the other day and shipped to your door for $600. So he hasn't really come up that much. So I tell people all the time, if you can find me a beam that'll do what this does for under $1,000, I'll buy it. But there isn't anything out there. There really isn't, and unless it's just a single band. Well, you know, 6 through 20 is what this has, and so you find something else like that, I'm all ears. But there just isn't anything that's close to it. We're 45 feet from the base plate, and we're looking at maybe extending it another 10 feet. My setup's a little different. It doesn't show up on the pictures, but my rotor's 4 foot off the ground inside of the tower, and we run a center mast pipe up. We have a thrust bearing about halfway up, and then we have one at the very top. So I did that because I didn't want the extra weight at the top of the tower, for one, and two, if I have to have service done on the rotor, I can continue using the antenna using the old Armstrong method there. Roger?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. I didn't realize. In fact, I'm just pulling all your QRZ pictures down. Very, very well done. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I know exactly what you did there. It makes a lot of sense. Now, do you get a lot of wind and snow there or not?
Yeah, K0RWB, K0RWB. We've had several storms over the last 8 or 9 years, ice storms, and with the ice cords, it gives it so much more stability. We've had several windstorms in excess of 70 miles an hour, and it just flops around like an upside-down antenna.
Yeah, I hear you. The defect mode that I found with most of them is that the ice cord's attached to the top part of the square tubing. So picture, if you will, hanging off the edge, the outer edge of 2 of the spreader arms and pulling down. The ice cords are attached to the end of the spreader arms, which are attached to the top of the square tubing, and that's when the square tubing bends at the base there. Over?
Yeah, it sure can. I don't know the exact, the manufacturing process that Roger did, but I've never had any issue with it. And, I have noticed a couple of times when we get some ice storms, I can go out and either shake the tower a little bit, and that'll take a lot of it off, believe it or not, or with the rotor controller, of course, it does have a brake on it. I can start going in one direction, hit the brake, and it'll stop it in its tracks, and it shakes it off as well. So I've been very fortunate. But again, what's the worst thing can happen? A fiberglass arm could break, and I just go get a replacement.
Yeah, where you have it, it's very nice. That's a very nice setup there. I like that a lot. And it's funny you said that, because I was playing around with the drone yesterday, and I did that. I just set it up right up on top of it and kept the footage running, and I ran into the house, left all the controllers in out there, and turned it 180 degrees, letting go of the brake, moving it, letting go of the brake. And I have a Yaesu rotor, and that's exactly what it does. It brakes so hard that you can see the thing swing a little bit, and you can see the impact of it. So that's good to know that it does shed the ice. But all good, and I love those QRZ photos, including Bob Heil there. That's a keeper. So thanks very much for coming back to my call, and thanks for the beautiful signal report. And back at you, too. It's just, you're booming in here. Just perfect audio, and you peak 20 over sometimes here into New Hampshire. So, Randy, good talking to you, okay?
No, my pleasure. Like I said, I had a feeling at some point you were going to come back around again. You know, phone calls are more important at radio usually, so not a worry. If the rest of the day would go like this, it'd be great. Boy, it was a struggle last week. There was a couple of days on 20 where I just said, you know, 20, 30 minutes is about all I can take. I can barely pull people out of the noise levels, and I went down to 40 meters. And, you know, I usually don't do that in the daytime, but just had a wonderful time and talked to some terrific operators. And then some were very curious about what we're doing on the live stream, and had a few that had sent me some comments later on about it, what they enjoyed, got to listen to themselves and stuff. And, you know, it's just a small little thing of amateur radio, but, you know, a lot of times a little stuff like that can go a long ways. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. I've had experience with one other person doing this, and I forget his call sign, but he was down in southern Florida, I think in the Miami area, and he would do it, and he would get all set up. But I like it. Nice job. Very, very well done, okay?
Yeah, you're talking about Alex. He's the one that got me involved. Whiskey 7 Hotel Uniform, and I got a notification YouTube. He's probably down at 14310. So if the conditions are good, stop in and say hi to him when we get done here, and just let him know that you and I talked. But he's the one that got me involved in this about 6 weeks ago. I was checking in to him because I wanted to know what it sounded like. And there's no, you know, again, the monitor feature with your headphones is not a good judge of what you actually sound like. And of course, I enjoyed talking with him, and I enjoyed checking in with him, and trying to help him with his channel. You know, that's kind of a neat thing. And we've had a couple of phone conversations. He says, you ought to do this. He said, you got a great voice, and you've got a good setup for it. You're in the central part of the U.S. I'm on the coast. I hear people you don't. You hear people I don't. And let's just go have fun. And I said, okay. So he helped me with the software, told me what to do, how to get things set up, how to get the things set up on YouTube. So I give him all the credit for where I'm at today. And again, going to this rig with the external monitor, I think it's nice to be able to live stream the screen so people can actually see the oscilloscope and see the spectrum scope and so forth. And I think people get something out of that as well. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. I like it a lot. It's done very, very well. So that's what a coincidence too. That was actually the fellow who got you into this. So all good. I've got to take care of something here. I'm 3 minutes late to making a phone call, but it's been a real pleasure speaking to you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to give me my my signal report and the report on my audio and all of that. Like I said, I think you're the second call I've made with the new microphone, so I'm glad to hear it's working okay.
Yep, it sure is. And I think you said you're on the live stream as well, but and you probably have, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do please do so. And we want to hear you again. Here's what I want to do. If we have a chance to talk in the next couple of days, and you listen to how your microphone sounds, I'd be curious to see what you think of it on the live stream, how it sounds to you. I think it sounds terrific, George, again, but nobody knows your voice better than you do, so I'm really curious what you think it is once you hear the live stream. Roger?
Yeah, okay. I can tell you what it sounds like, over the Bose headset, which I know is a lot different. So it'll be interesting to run back through that here, which I'll do here in a few minutes.
Yep, it sounds good. I think we started, if you want to fast forward in the stream, I think we started about 50 minutes in. It's now an hour and 4. So right around there, we'll probably give you an idea. And I mean, that way you can kind of fast forward and take a listen. But yeah, I'm interested to see what you think. I'm sure we'll have a chance to work again. Gosh, if our signals are that good. And you've noticed this as well. I didn't mention it earlier. Generally, hex to hex is at least an S unit or 2 higher than any other antenna on the other that you're talking with. I don't know what it is with hex to hex, but it always seems to be a little bit higher signal. So again, You've been 10 over to 20 over most of the time as well. Nice to see that we're getting in New Hampshire. Lisa, up New England states is working really well today. I hope it continues. So get your phone call, and we'll pick it up next time we get a chance to talk, and we'll see how things are going for you at that time. Kilo 1, Golf Hotel Charlie, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. I'll let you finish it, George. Thanks again.
Okay, Randy, thanks very much again. And as I said, that last transmission, you were 10 to 15 over, but in general, you were peaking 20 over with beautiful audio. So thanks for taking my call in 7-3. K1, GHC, clear.
Okay, 7-3, so we'll go ahead and clear. This is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, Randy in Kansas City, calling for any stations anywhere, QRZ.
November 4, Tango Delta Papa.
November 4, Tango Delta Papa. Troy, how are you this afternoon?
Just fine. How are you?
Man, if I was doing any better, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. How's that for an answer?
Well, that's a good way to be. I'm close to that same way since I just clocked out and off for the day. I was working here listening to your conversation, and I got the little brother to your radios, the FT991A, and I've only had it on the air for about a week. I was off the air for probably maybe 5-6 years. Back on the air this weekend, started it up fresh with the contest, had a good time, but I haven't addressed any of the audio issues yet with my radio. I did put the MD100 microphone on it, but I know there's lots of menu items to address. I was listening to some of the things you were talking about, but very interesting. Anyway, back to you.
No, hey, thanks, Troy, for giving us a call. And yeah, the audio you've got right now, that 100, seems like a good setup. Terrific radio, by the way. The 991A, what a terrific radio. I mean, that's a nice home run as well. But yeah, a 5.7 to 5.8 signal. I pointed the beam down that way a little bit. It did bring you up in my receive. I wouldn't say you've got a whole lot of adjustment to make. Actually, it sounds quite good in my receive there, Roger.
Well, that's always good to hear. So that's always good to hear for sure. But I definitely had some fun this weekend, and I wasn't married to the radio by any means for a couple days, but casually made quite a few contacts. It was really good to get back into it, and that's always the best time to get back in is contest weekend anyway. To at least enjoy that aspect of it, you know.
Yeah, it sure is, and welcome back to the hobby. Hopefully, you'll enjoy it as much first time around. I think the bands are getting better. 20 was a little suspect last week, but it seems to be okay today so far. We've gone to New England states, now down to Florida twice, and even out to the Phoenix area. So for me, sometimes being in central U.S. is a good thing. Sometimes it can be a pain because you got to point left or right, so to speak. But it's nice to be able to cover the U.S. here so far. A little interesting that 6 and 7 call areas would be this early in the afternoon for me, but we're not going to complain. We'll work the stations while we can. And we made a few contacts over the weekend as well. We're trying to work all the stations down in Curacao, and we were able to copy that. And actually yesterday afternoon late, one of them was still on 40 meters, and we're not quite as good antenna wise on 40, just a dipole, and we were able to make contact with him, trying to get to the pilot a little bit. So that was kind of a nice way to end the Monday, and here we are again today. And so generally during the week about 2 o'clock Central Time for a few hours, or until the band dies, we're out here, and we're also streaming on YouTube as well there, Roger.
Roger, I did hear you mention that earlier, and I've got some questions about that, but it's funny you should mention those guys down in Curacao. They're actually from my town here. I live in Melbourne, Florida, and 3 or 4 of them went down there, and they go down every year, I guess, to PJ2T, I think was their call, and they all lived in this general area, and I didn't realize it till a couple days before the contest. I got my antenna up in the air, and and I was listening, and I pulled them up on QRZ, and I was like, well, they're right down the road. So I had a quick conversation with them, and they told me that there's 4 of them down there, and they head down every year. So that was a good time. My antenna is the Ultramax end-fed. It's an end-fed, 66 feet long. I've got it about 30 feet in the air. It's a gentle slope to the north, but or I should say to the south. I'm sorry, a gentle slope to the south. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned those Curacao guys. N4 TDP.
Yeah, sure thing, Troy. Matter of fact, I had a real nice QSO yesterday on 40 with Walter. I'd have to pull his call up. It was whiskey 2 something, whiskey 5 something. And yeah, you know, the contest was over. He was just making some contact. He said most of the guys were sleeping because it was such a hectic weekend. But I had a nice conversation with Walter, and yeah, he's there in Melbourne as well. So it was really nice. And you know, it's and they know this going in. Of course, they're very good operators. I don't have the advantage of working a pilot like that, and how they're able to pull calls and have the patience. I don't know, but I work them the best I can, especially when I'm doing this in the afternoons, and I'm hoping I'm able to get it to many stations that are out there. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, but it is what it is. But yeah, fine business on the antenna. It's working well for you, and I think you've got a really good setup between the microphone and the rig. I'm not quite sure what your settings are in the rig itself, but it does have a nice little punch to it. It's a great audio for DX. You know, for rag chew, maybe a little bit more lows, but certainly nothing that's not pleasing to listen to there, Roger.
Roger, I do hear that, and I do want to bring some more lows in because I do have a low voice. So if the lows aren't coming across, I want to find a way to bring those in a little bit. But anyway, listen, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate it. Like I said, I was finishing up work today, enjoying listening to you guys talk a little audiophile garb. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to jump in and say hey, and it's great to be keying the mic again. I'll say that for sure. N4 TDP.
Yeah, okay, Troy, no problem. And yeah, give a listen on the playback. Go to YouTube, just put in my call sign in the search bar, and just listen to the playback and listen to it yourself. See what you think. If you need or want to make any changes, or if not, that's fine as well. As I tell everybody, nobody knows your voice as good as you do, so you can be the final judge. I did the same thing the other day. I tried to run this rig with the processor on, with the mic EQ, excuse me, and I just couldn't get it to sound like me. And I turned the mic EQ off and made a couple of small adjustments, and I go, yep, that's me. And so what you're hearing is me. So you know, so far so good. But yeah, give a listen and see what you think. Just fast forward to about the 1 hour 8 minute mark, and that should put you pretty close to where we're at right now. But thanks for giving us a call, and again, welcome to the hobby again. Congratulations, terrific radio. You got setup's working really well, and you didn't say anything about running any power. You're probably running 100 watts. It makes me wonder why my electric bill is so high, but it's working for you today. So I'll say 7.3s. Give a listen, give a like. Like to hear from you again. So if you have a chance, stop by and say hi. We're generally out here during the week, starting 2 o'clock Central. November 4, Tango Delta Papa, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, 7.3s.
Hey, thanks very much. And I didn't catch your name.
Yeah, the name here is Randy, Romeo Alpha November Delta Yankee. And thanks for reminding me. My QTH is 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri.
Awesome. All right, Randy. Enjoy the day. Thanks very much for the QSO. I appreciate it. K0RWB N4 TDP 7.3.
All right, 7.3s. This is K0RWB, Randy, Kansas City, clear QRZ. Any stations anywhere?
Charlie 2.
There was I'm sorry, lots of you out there. I'll try to get there. There's a something question Charlie 2 station again.
Kilo Charlie 2, Whiskey Yankee Uniform. QRP.
Okay, gotcha. And I did hear the QRP, so stand by 1, QRP. Joe, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing fine, Randy. Doing all right. You're coming in about 5 dB over S9 into New Jersey this afternoon. Just
Yeah, okay, Joe. I brought the beam up your way a little bit, so you did come up in my receive. Hopefully, I'll come up in yours as well. Thanks for giving us a call there. I didn't expect to have that many sitting on the side, but nice to hear that the band is open. We've been up and down the eastern seaboard, so I'm glad to see that the band is open that direction. We're bouncing back and forth between upper New England states, Florida, out in Arizona, and everything in between. So nice to see that the band is working. Terrific signal. A little noise on the band. It's been like that most of the day since I've been out, but we have a good copy on you around 5 and 9 there, Roger.
Roger, Andy. I just got on a few minutes ago, went up and down the band here on 20, and you're about the only station that I heard on the entire band, believe it or not. But you're coming through very, very clear, very, very, very nice signal. I don't have too much noise on my end. I'm running 100 watts, just 100 watts. The rig is a Kenwood TS480 SAT, and the antenna is a 2-element Yagi by Mosley, and it's pointed in your direction. And that's about it as far as working conditions. Weather is beautiful, a beautiful day, warming up, and looks like spring is just about to come. Back to you, Randy. K0RWB, KC2WYU.
Yeah, 5 minutes, Joe. Yeah, isn't it amazing? We've gone from frigid sub-zero temperatures to July, it seems like. Kind of the same way here for the last several days. The mid-60s, even a couple of 70s mixed in, mostly sunshine. We're that way today as well. It is supposed to change for us a little bit tomorrow for the weekend with some rain, which is definitely welcomed. We've had so much wind to get the temperatures up that we've dried out quite a bit. So we could certainly use some moisture. So there's your weather report for central U.S. there, high. But yeah, it's nice to see the weather change again. I think everybody, at least I've talked with on the air, was kind of getting to the point where, it's time to have some a little bit nicer weather. And I think so far it's been accommodating. I hope it continues to be so. But, the March can be very volatile. So can April. I just hope it's nothing that's going to get anybody in trouble there, Roger.
Roger. Very good on your weather, Randy. Yeah, March is tricky. We had a big snowstorm last year during March and knocked over a big tree in my backyard. So you can have beautiful weather and you can have some very severe weather. I won't hold it, Randy, but just one comment on your signal. It's really, really very clean, good audio. Also, I noticed that there's absolutely no Queen Sugar Baker on your signal at all. No Queen Sugar Baker. It's very, very clear and very, very nice to copy. Okay, you want to get to that QRP station. I won't hold it. So thank you for the first time call, Randy. First time QSO, and have a good day, good week, and 73. That's the final K0RWB, KC2WYU.
Well, okay, Joe. Of course, you probably wouldn't. It may not show up in your log, but we actually had a QSO on Christmas Day back in 2016, and that must have been when I was doing the Christmas train. But at that time, the call was Whiskey 9 Radio Whiskey Bravo. We changed the call to Kilo Zero Radio Whiskey Bravo a couple of years ago. Too many questions about why I had a 9 call and a 0 call area, so we decided to change it. But that's what I'm showing in my log. I have a feeling that's probably what it was, and we had a great time doing that as well. So, but no, thanks for giving us a shout today. I'm glad you did, and conditions are what they are, but we're making contacts for sure, and we're glad that we were able to make a contact with you as well today, and hope to do it again real soon, Joe. So thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week that's coming up, maybe even a wonderful weekend too, but hopefully we'll talk before then. If not, I'm sure you'll be just fine. 7-3s, Joe, and take care. Kilo Charlie 2, Whiskey Yankee Uniform, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. 7-3s, my friend. Okay, we'll go ahead and clear with Joe, and let's see, is that QRP station? Are you still in there? QRP, come back with your call. Well, it might be a little tough. I'm not sure where to point the beam at, We're going to see if we can try to pull you out there a little bit. The QRP station, try it again, please.
November 2 Whiskey Charlie Lima QRP in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Roger, QRP, November 2 Whiskey Charlie Lima. Is that a Roger?
Dr. Rogers, can I get your call sign again, please?
You bet. Just Kilowatt Zero Radio Whiskey Bravo.
Name here is Ben, Bravo, Echo, November.
Okay, Ben, fine business. We were able to pull you out that time. You're in the Galloway, Atlantic City area, Roger?
Roger, right next to Galloway Township and City Hall. We're right next door to each other.
Okay, fine business. So what power are you running? How many watts are you running today?
Using a J2 X819
Okay, Ben. Well, it's working. You're just above my noise. I've got about an S3 noise level, so you're about 4 and 5. And I think you said 6 watts. Is that a Roger? Well, when I'm able to hear you, your signal has been about 5 and 5. You're 5 and 5 on the signal report there. Go ahead. Now, Ben, you get kind of lost, kind of dropped out on me there. I'm not sure if you're able to copy me. Weren't able to hear you that time around. We'll try it one more time. Give us a signal report, Ben. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ben. I'm not able to copy you. Again, I have you at 5 and 5. You're right at my noise level. We can certainly try it again here in a few if you'd like. We'll probably just move on for now and see if the conditions get any better for us. But we'll see if we can complete the contact. But I did get the call, and I did hear you at 5 and 5. We can certainly try it again a little bit, see if the conditions are better. November 2, Whiskey Charlie Lima, Kilowatt Zero, Radio Whiskey Bravo. We'll be clear, Ben, 7-3s, and K0RWB, QRZ, any station, anywhere.
America Delta 5, Mike Delta.
The Mike Delta station again, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Randy. Kilo Zero Radio Whiskey Bravo. The call is Alpha Delta 5, Mike Delta, over.
Alpha Delta 5, Mike Delta, Roger.
Project QSL, the name here is Ernie, Echo Radio Nancy Italy Echo. And you're 5 and 9, very good signal here into South Texas, over.
Wow, South Texas. So you're on the back side of my beam. I don't think I'm going to touch it because you're 5'9 plus. Go ahead.
Okay, looks like the hex beam to hex beam is working. I checked the QRZ bio and I saw that you're also using a hex beam. I also it's about 25 feet off the ground, over.
Wow, that's terrific. I just looked the meter that time. 5'9 plus 10, 5'9 plus 10, crystal clear audio. I'm afraid if I move it, I might lose you. So if you're pointed my direction, then that's probably going to help us both there, Roger.
Roger, QSL. But I'm running some power right now. I'm running about, I'd say about 650. Let me try with 50 watts. Hold on. Okay, I'm running 50 watts now. How do you receive me, over?
5 and 7 and 5 and 8, thereabouts.
Okay, Roger, QSL. Yeah, well, the hex beam is working. Okay, Randy, we'll let you go, and I just wanted to let you know that you're coming real good here to South Texas, over.
Yeah, fine business. You know, I very seldom am I able to make any contacts in the Texas period on 20. On 40 meters and 80 meters, no problem. but for some reason on 20 meters, 17 the upper bands, I did not, and I have yet to have a signal that has come in as strong as you are. So I guess the band is really starting to open up. I've got you pulled up on QRZ, and you probably know that we're live streaming as well. So we have a chance to show off your shack. It's quite an impressive amount of equipment sitting on the bench there, Roger.
Okay, Roger. Well, that's how many years? I migrated here from the Philippines in 2002, and well, those are all acquired from here. But when I first came here, I had some of my equipment. I had it shipped ahead of me. Over.
Yeah, fine business. I'm looking at radio. Is that either a 3 or a 5,000?
Oh, just a 3,000, and the one above it is a 590 SG. Over.
Yeah, it's both terrific radios. Really are. You know, I've had Yaesu for years, and I'm still trying to figure out how to adjust the parasitic EQs there, Roger.
Well, you're sounding good. Are you on the FTDX10?
Yeah, I sure are. It'd be 2 weeks. 2 weeks tomorrow.
How do you like it? How's the receiver section?
Oh, terrific. You know, the DNR is adjustable, as is the noise blank. You can really filter out to close nearby stations. The receiver does not seem to get overloaded, and you've got really nice adjustments on the notch, and you can really narrow things up. It has surpassed my expectations. I almost looked at almost bought a used FTDX 3000. It didn't have the external monitor port. That's what I wanted, so I could do. I could put the screen up on the live stream on YouTube, and that's what I wanted. And this one, this radio, of course, offered that, and so that was one of the other features as well. But yeah, the receive on this is just incredible, Roger.
Okay, K0RWB Whiskey Bravo from 85MD. Well, nice to know that. I'm actually thinking of getting one. I don't know if I'll get rid of the 590 SG. This is a good radio especially for CW. Well, they both are, and I'll probably see for myself how it works.
Yeah, I've talked to several operators now who have the 10. The receiver and transmit and all intents and purposes are pretty close to the 101. I mean, I'm using some 101 settings for the transmit audio from a friend of mine in Knoxville, Tennessee. Only I made one little adjustment on the mids, and that was it. So I'm using 101 settings, and I think it works out really well. You know, it's not a big case. I didn't want another big radio. I'd like to do a little portable work and so forth, and it'd be easy enough to carry around. I do have a 7300 as well, and it's a terrific radio. They're both just different. Not good or bad, but they're different. But I do like the way this radio is laid out, and it's really easy to work through the menus, and so far so good. Roger?
Well, Randy, if you don't mind, how do you find the audio? Over?
I'm sorry, did we double? I'm sorry, say again?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was wondering if you can let me know how the audio sounds on your end. Over.
Oh, I think it's terrific. It's bright. It's really bright and crisp. I have no problems copying you. It has a really nice tone to it. Terrific for DX type work. But yeah, it sounds really good in my receive. Go ahead.
Okay, I think somebody decided to tune right on top of the frequency. Well, thank you very much, sir, for the information. I'm using a $23 microphone, but of course I have the outboard equipment, the W2IHY. All right, Randy, we'll let you go. I think somebody wants to work your station there. 73, and thank you very much for the QSO. Kilowatt Zero Radio Whiskey Bravo from Alpha Delta 5, Mike Delta, over.
Yeah, fine business. Hey, if I don't know if you've heard or not, but if you're curious to see what your audio actually sounds like, we're live streaming on YouTube. You can go and listen to it on YouTube on the playback, and listen to our QSO, and you can listen to it for yourself. Again, nobody's going to know how your voice is better than you, but that way you'd have a chance to listen to it and see how it sounds. If you want to make any changes or not make any changes, you can certainly do so. So, yeah, just go to YouTube and put in my call and look for the today's date video, and it would be about the 1 hour and 25 mark, give or take, on the QSO. Roger?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for the information. Yeah, I see this one. 73 from Randy. Okay. I'll go check it out, Randy. And the station calling me, I'm sorry, this is not my frequency. You might want to move down 5 if you'd like to work me. Thank you very much, Randy. Have a good one. Kilo 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo from 85MD. 73.
You bet. 73. Thanks for giving us a shout from Texas. Alpha Delta 5, Mike Delta, Kilowatt 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo. We'll be clear. And K0RWB, any station, anywhere, QRZ.
Kilo 1, Fox, Juliet Golf.
Kilo 1, Fox, Juliet Golf. Jay, how are you this afternoon?
Fine, thanks there, Randy. Nice to make your contact. I've been listening for just a little bit here while looking at reviews for this NA4RR hex beam.
Yeah, you know, I left a comment years ago. I bought mine from him in 2005, or no, excuse me, 2012. But you know, he does a good job. This has been up since January of 12, and no problem so far there, Roger.
Roger. By the way, you're a 5.9. Nice audio here into Shelton, Connecticut. Over.
Yeah, terrific. You know, the New England states have come in really, really nice today. I'd like to say that the band is working fairly well. We've been up and down the eastern seaboard, even now just finished Texas and over into to Arizona. So I guess today is a good day to be in central U.S. there, Roger.
Yes, I guess so. Let's see, I was up on 17 meters a little bit earlier, and that seemed to be open, and I was going to jump in there, but had a few technical problems I had to work out first. But let's see, I heard you say something about 7300 there that you have, and then you've got something else, some other rig. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have the 7300 I got the end of January. We upgraded from an older Yaesu FT950, and we do like the rig. We knew it was going to end up being primarily portable. We do a lot of portable work, and so we ran it here in the main shack for a little over a month. And in 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, we picked up the FTDX10 Yaesu, which we're operating now, and we're really happy with it as well, Roger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I actually have been researching pretty hard on the FTDX10. I have an interest in smaller radios like this. I'm a little bit of an e-commer here, so I like stuff that's small, doesn't take up too much juice. I can power them with batteries and all that. But yeah, so I'm curious what your experience is, received quality, noise levels between the 7300 and the FTDX10. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no comparison. The receive on this Yaesu is definitely better. The 7300 is a good radio. Don't get me wrong. You can get overloaded on receive when you've got stations nearby. I mean, you can notch it out, you know, so much and so forth. But the Yaesu by far has been better, in my opinion. I mean, if I put on the noise blank and then you can adjust noise blank, you can adjust the digital noise reduction, the DNR. You can adjust it, not just push a button, but you can hold it in and you can actually adjust it as well. So it's made a big difference. There's a little noise on the band earlier. I hit DNR and it all went away, and all I hear is the station on the other end. So I don't regret it one bit. Again, I'm like you. I like a smaller footprint radio. My 950 was a big radio, was not conducive for portable work. The 7300 is a little bit smaller than this rig, but not by much. But I wouldn't hesitate to take any out in the field, Roger.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I've got the 7300 here, and of course the DSP is adjustable on this, just like it is on the FTDX10 there. So that gives me some pretty good capability. But then, I've also added to this a West Mountain Clear DSP, and that takes out some of the high-end hiss. that I have in all band conditions, even when there's not, many people on the bands. I get this high-end hiss on the 7300, so that makes it a little, definitely makes it noticeably better. But as my ears age, I'm very interested in, the quietest experience I can get. So that FTDX10 is very interesting to me.
Yeah, like I said, we've been very happy with it. We've had all the major brands. We've had the Kenwood and then Yaesu for many years, and then our first experience with the 7300. I mean, it's a terrific radio. They wouldn't have sold as many as they have. It's a great price point radio. It does a lot of things quite well. There are certainly differences between the radios, pluses and minuses. The Yaesu 101. Has kind of come along as about the same as this rig did. It's been a few years before Yaesu has come out with some new radios, and that they've certainly garnered a lot of attention from some operators. We like to have that external monitor feature, which the 7300 doesn't have. That was a big bonus for us, so we can either display put the display up on a monitor, or as we're doing now, we're able to put up the display on our live stream, so people can look at the oscilloscope. They can see the wave patterns on their frequency response and so forth, and that's something that the 7300 didn't have. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't come out with another model that has that feature, but that was a nice add-in for us on this radio. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, that seemed like a nice add-in, something similar to what you get on a 7610, or as you said, the DX101, FTDX101D and M series. Okay. So in quiet band conditions, in noisy band conditions, that thing is substantially quieter than the 7300. Just want to ask once more.
For me, it has been. It does. The receive does not seem to get near as overloaded as it has been for me on the 7300. It's really hard to kind of filter out nearby stations that have a little bit of splatter. Again, you can work through anything, of course. In my ears, the same way. I'd like to have something that's a little bit quieter. There's a little noise on the band right now. I hit the DNR and I hear nothing but you. Even though I can look at the waterfall and see other stations out there, but I don't have anything out there, no noise whatsoever, but just you. And that's what I wanted in a radio. And so far, it's provided it for me there, Roger.
Yeah, that is awesome. All right. Well, hey, thanks for the feedback on that FTDX10 there. Appreciate that. And I don't want to hold you up from making some other contacts. It has been enjoyable. This is Kilo 1 of Fox Juliet Golf. Back to you.
Yeah, no problem, Jay. I'm glad that you gave us a call. I just checked the log, so I don't see a contact for us, but I appreciate the first one. I've made lots of contacts up in your part of the world today, so everybody's doing quite well. They're up in the upper New England area, so to speak. It's really nice to see. And so far, today has been much better than most of the days I had last week. 20 was not very good for me. A lot of electrical noise and just noise in general. So we held out as long as we could. Ended up going down to 40 meters, and it was a little bit quieter. And made some terrific contacts. Met some new operators, and had a good time. But 20 is doing good today, and we're glad that you gave us a call. And I'm glad we had a chance to work there. So 7-3 is my friend, and feel free to stop back anytime. Have a chance to work again. Just kind of pick up where we left off. Kilo 1, Foxtrot Juliet Golf, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. 7-3 is my friend.
Okay, Randy. Yeah, we got you in the log here. It's been a pleasure. 7-3. K1FJG. We'll be clear.
1, Echo Sierra Foxtrot. Good afternoon. How are you doing today, Pat?
Very good. You're coming in here, 5'9". This is the first time I've contacted a Missouri station. Kind of interested a number of years ago. My oldest boy went on a little adventure, unauthorized, and while Mookie. We'll have to fly down and grab him. Go ahead.
You're welcome, I guess, or congratulations, or I'm sorry. Independence is probably 18 to 20 miles west of me. I'm about 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, right on Interstate 70, so not too far for Independence. Yeah, interesting department they have there. That's as far as I'll go. Probably don't want to hash old wounds there, Roger.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things. It was a bunch of his high school buddies decided to go to Colorado, and we had a nationwide APV out for him. And I just thought the irony was that the fugitives get caught in Independence, Missouri, and that's where they lost.
Oh, that's terrific. Maybe it was a stopover for fuel or food, or it's just there's so many things to do in Independence. I can certainly see why people would stop there. Well, I would assume everything turned out for the best there, Roger.
Oh yeah. It was. It's all over. That was it's quite a while ago. But what I got a kick out of was the jailer down there. I told him, I said, I can't get down there for a while. We got a hell of a snowstorm here, and I can't get out on any airplanes. I can't fly mine down, certainly. I can't see where I'm going. And he said to me without missing a beat, he says,
I lost that last part. You cut off on me. Try it again.
Well, the jailer just, when I told him I couldn't get down there, he said, don't worry about a thing. He isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, that would make sense. I can certainly understand that. But I'm sure that you had a meeting of the minds when you two got together, Roger.
Oh yeah. We went to pick his car up, and I told him, I said, you're all done with the automobile. I sold it right down there to the guy in the impound lot. And when the fella started handing me some cash, Junior had his hand stuck out, and I said, oh no, this is going in my pocket to defray the expense of the trip. That kind of took a little wind out of his sails.
Well, I would have thought you probably put him on the bus and sent him back to Concord.
No, actually, I flew down there and put him in the seat next to me in the airplane. I had to hold him right by the ear. Got him back home.
Well, I'll bet he's a better person today because of it.
Well, today we can laugh about it, but I was some hot during the trip, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and I would venture to guess the time frame was probably during the winter time.
Yeah, it was. It was about this time of year, and we had just come across a big snowstorm, so I've got an airplane, and I was thinking about flying down in my airplane and getting him, but I couldn't get it out. It was the weather was not cooperating.
Oh, well, then there's so much to see and do around here in the wintertime. Everything is so lush and covered in snow. It's a hallmark picture there, Roger.
Well, we've got pretty much the same thing up here in the New Hampshire end, but that wasn't too much of a hallmark moment when I got down there.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because Hallmark Cards is actually here in the metro area. That's where their headquarters is, so that's kind of why I brought it up. But yeah, enough about Old Hash. Well, thanks for stopping by into Independence. You probably didn't get to see the best part of it. Your mindset was a little different, but I assume there are operators in Independence. I can't get much closer, but you're pretty darn close to it, though. But we're so glad you called in today anyway there, Roger.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you thanks for coming back, and thanks for sharing a chuckle with me.
Oh, well, we do this all the time, Pat. I mean, we're just a laugh riot. I'll tell you, we will do everything we can there for a laugh. But it's funny you should say that, because we're live on YouTube right now, so we'll see if everybody else gets a chuckle out of it as well, Roger.
Yagi, and when I was dropping out back there, there's something wrong with the Yagi. It's dropping out, so I switched over to an off-center fit dipole. Did the signal change much?
Well, yeah, not much though. You've been between 5.7 and 5.9. It's been the band is moving anyway, so I wouldn't take too much stock in it. But I certainly don't have any trouble copying you. You're way above the noise level that I have here. I mean, it's not a huge notice, but yeah, I did notice a little bit, but not enough to worry about there, Roger.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of disappointed. It's a Mosley antenna, and there's something wrong with it. I'll go along for a little while, and then the radio just blanks out. So I've got a short somewhere in the antenna, apparently.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Hopefully, it's nothing that's going to do any damage to the rig. Hoping it's something that you can get lined out fairly well. And hopefully the weather will help you with that if you have to bring it back down or what have you. We've been very fortunate here, We've gone from sub-zero to July, it seems like. So I just don't want to bring the beam down just yet. We do it once a year just for inspection purposes, but I think I might wait. Yeah, I'm not quite ready to tackle that. But we just run a hex beam, Pat, and so it's a 2-element Yagi basically, and we're fortunate we hadn't had those issues, and it's resonant. I have several ways of checking the FWRs, and it's just flat as a pancake. So we'll just keep operating, Roger.
Yeah, I was thinking about a hex beam, but I like the looks of the Mosley, and it's supposed to be a good antenna. I suspect that there's probably some operator error here in the install, and the tower that it's on's got a ladder. It's a 50-foot freestanding tower, so it's no problem getting up there to look at it, but I'm going to wait till the weather warms up a little bit, because it's still pretty cool up here.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, again, you've got another antenna that's working well for you, and you can certainly take your time. And I've got no problems hearing you. The audio has a terrific little punch to it, and so I can understand wanting to get the beam up and operating. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like something that could be sounds like it'd be a simple fix. Usually, not too much can go wrong with them, Roger.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm a fairly new ham, but I've got some Elmas around here that have been around for a long time, and they've been most generous with their offers of assistance. So I think I'm going to lean on that a little bit when the weather breaks. But up until recently, that thing's been working great. I was really impressed with it. I've got a rotor on it. I've got a TS590 Kenwood that I bought for a radio. And at the house, I've got a 7300. So I'm having some fun, but this is a little bit of a kick in the pants. But it's a hobby. It's a setback. Things happen.
Yeah, you're right about that. I will say one thing about amateur radio. We're a bunch that doesn't take no for an answer. There's a will, there's a way. We get on the air. So, you've done that as well already. So. I have a feeling that you'll get it squared away, and look forward to the next contact. And of course, it's interesting. I have to say, just real quick, I wanted to say thank you, Barry. I got a note here from Barry of a new subscriber, so we do appreciate that. A lot of times, people are listening on the live stream, so we want to give a shout out when we can. But no, I certainly understand, Pat, and I can understand the frustration as well. I'm too old to climb ladders evermore, so I just tilt mine over with the cable, and we can just kind of pick and choose where we want to work on it. But no, I'm past that age. We were fortunate that we had a tilt over base, Roger.
Yeah, I considered that too, but this tower was given to me, and it was something that was built as kind of a shop project in a welding shop up here. And it's been moved a couple of times. It was a pretty interesting move. We just took a crane and tipped it over and welded some mobile home wheels on the back of it, hooked it up to a wrecker, and we had the fire chief in front with his lights going and the deputy in back, and away we went. We came across town with it. It
it's nice to get the local officials involved. That's terrific. I guess you've got quite a bit of pull there in town, huh? Is that right?
Well, they're both friends of mine, and it's a small town, so everybody pulls in the same direction. If you need a hand with something, the locals are more than willing to help. And I suspect for probably most of the trip, it was just kind of an adventure because you don't see this thing going down the road like that all that often. It was pretty cool. And then we had a 100-ton crane because I set it up on a hill back at the shop to set it. So some of the neighbors were sort of looking out the window when they saw that go up. So it was quite an adventure around here for a little while.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. KC1ESF K0RWB. Got my tongue tied. Yeah, I can I would love to see some pictures of that. That'd be some great talking material on a QRZ page. A tower going down the road with wheels on the back of it. That would be and being caravanned and escorted. That would have been a sight for sore eyes there, Roger.
Yeah, I had a couple of people suggest that, and I'm pretty computer illiterate, so I don't really know how to send the pictures, but I'm going to call them and ask them because we've done a couple of things like that around here. It's pretty funny. We've got a public service radio in the backyard too. We made out of a couple of pieces of 5-inch aluminum pipe, welded two of them together, and stuck an aerial on the top of it. So that's out there. And I was going to see if QRZ was interested in a story entitled "A Tale of Two Towers."
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure it would be. Yeah, that would be some good front page material for sure. Yeah, your signals come up though. Been solid 5 and 9 that time around. Nice to see that the band is open. It's been pretty good all afternoon here so far. We came out here about 2:00 Central, and we usually operate for a couple hours until the band kind of dies down and what have you. And we certainly understand the computer literacy. We feel that way as well, but we are able to navigate it somewhat, and able to keep an electronic logger. And of course, we're able to get on YouTube and do our live stream. So that's about the extent of our computer knowledge, but we know enough to be dangerous. So, Pat, thanks for giving us a call. We're going to make a few more contacts before we've got to shut it down here in about another 10 minutes. But we do appreciate the chuckles, and I'm sorry that you had to come to Independence on a different occasion, and hopefully we'll have you back. And get you into some of the good Kansas City barbecue. We are quite proud of that here in the area. But 7-3s, enjoy the rest of your day. Nice to chance to work you. And we do appreciate you taking the time to give us a call, and hope we'll have a chance to work again real soon. Enjoy the rest of the day. Have a great week ahead, and we look forward to next time. Kilo Charlie 1, Echo Sierra Foxtrot, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. 7-3s, my friend.
To you as well, but before you go, if you shoot me an email address, I'll send you a couple of pictures. I've got my young boy here; he can run the computer and so on and so forth. I'll send you a couple of photos of these towers.
Yeah, I'll certainly do that. I'll get something out to you this evening. How's that?
Terrific, and I'll get that right back to you. I think you'll get a kick out of it. So it was great, QSO, and thank you for coming back. It's 7-3, Kilo Charlie 1, Echo Sierra Fox.
Okay, Pat. Yeah, sounds good. Take care, my friend. We'll do it again real soon, and we'll look forward to the emails. We'll say 7-3 for now. We'll go ahead and clear with Pat. This is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, reigning Kansas City. You clear, and QRZ, any station, anywhere.
Whiskey Alpha 1 Golf Sierra, Whiskey Alpha 1 Golf Sierra.
MW.
Whiskey Alpha 1 Golf Sierra. Boy, that's a big signal. How's it going this afternoon?
Okay, very good afternoon to you, my friend. The handle here is Guy, Golf Uniform Yankee. QTH is Manhattan, New York City, in an apartment 26 stories up, right in the middle of Manhattan. And you're coming in with a beautiful 5x9 signal, Randy, if I have the name correctly, over.
Yeah, Guy, appreciate that. Yeah, the handle is correct. And QRZ has you in Connecticut, but you're in New York now. Is that Roger?
Yeah, let me explain. I really need to do, in addition to the QRZ page, because it does confuse a lot of people. My main location for hamming is our country place in Connecticut, but due to the pandemic, my wife and I have been staying in New York City, and I decided to try hamming from here. By the way, my amp just kicked out. Are you still able to copy, Randy?
Yeah, you're 5 and 7, guy. Go ahead.
Okay, so at any event, I have a balcony in my apartment. I'm in a building which is 26 stories high, and I'm on the it's 48 stories high. I'm on the 26th floor, and I've got a buddy pole antenna. If you're familiar with that, it's a horizontal dipole configuration mounted on a tripod on the balcony, and I'm using an ICOM 7300 and an Ameritron 811 putting out about 300 watts. Over.
Yeah, well, that's terrific. I've talked to another operator down in Miami who kind of operates that same way with a buddy pole, and boy, they must be terrific. I've never had the opportunity to operate one. I've talked with several people who operate them, and gosh, for what you're running, that's terrific. I would venture to guess that your balcony is facing the west, Roger?
Strangely enough, it's facing more south than west, but somehow the signal wraps around the buildings. Maybe it's bouncing off some skyscrapers.
Wow, that's terrific. Well, good for you. I looked at your QRZ page. I'm not trying to tell people how to run them, but boy, a couple of pictures on the page would definitely be some great talking points, Roger.
Yeah, I've got to get around to do it, and maybe this is an incentive to do it after speaking with you, Randy. So how are things in the good old state of Missouri?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, if things were any better, we just wouldn't know what to do. I've said earlier, a couple other stations, we've gone from sub-zero to July, so to speak. Boy, the last 5 or 6 days have just been wonderful. We feel like we've turned a corner weather-wise. It's been in the mid to upper 60s, a couple of lower 70s a couple of days, sunshine each day. Sunshine current today about 73. We are looking for some rain the next couple of days, but that's okay. We get the winds out of the south that gets the temperatures up, but it drives us out as well. And we can certainly use some moisture. So can the farmers. They'll be getting ready to plant here pretty soon. So that's the weather report for the KC metro area there. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, I enjoy the great weather. We're getting a little bit of a taste of it. I think it's almost 60 degrees here in New York. Pandemic seems to be getting more under control. My wife and I got our second shot of the Moderna vaccine. 2 weeks have passed, and we went to a local restaurant to celebrate. And this past weekend, we were up in our Connecticut location because my granddaughter lives there with our son, and that was a treat to hug her. Over.
Yeah, I'll bet it was. Well, that's terrific. Good for you. I'm glad to see that things are working in your favor. I have a feeling that as time goes on, I'd like to think that we'll all be that way. And I think different parts of the U.S. have had different degrees or intensities of the virus. The county that I live in, we had no confirmed cases until September, and we're one county removed from the metro area. So it's fortunate, unfortunate, for some areas a little bit more dense populations, that the infection rates have been higher, but we're really nice and glad to see things are getting better. It sounds like it is in your part of the world. So that's terrific for you. I did see, I'm not sure if it's a QSL card or what, but nice little picture, your shack in the background, what have you, with your call sign. That's a pretty neat little setup. But yeah, those pictures would be great. Be terrific. I know the gentleman down in Miami has done that, and I've talked to him on several occasions. And boy, I tell you, that makes me wonder about operating a buddy pole. But your audio is really good, nice and crystal. The 7300 does a terrific job. It's a great transmit audio radio. We have one as well that we use for backup and portable work. But we'd love to see some pictures. I'd like to see what that setup looks like, Roger.
Roger. Okay, well, I'm going to do it, and hopefully it'll be something that you'll enjoy seeing. Is the copy still all right? Because for some reason my amp seems to have shorted out. Over.
Well, you're above my noise. You're between 5 and 5 and 5 and 7. I don't have a problem copying you. I mean, you did come down and signal a little bit. Certainly don't want you to have any issues while you're on the air with me, but we did hear you that last go around, Roger.
Okay, well I'm back up to some more power. How's this?
Yeah, now you're back to 5 and 9. Definitely a good signal. I don't know if you heard or if I had mentioned to you, but we're actually live on YouTube right now. Guy, if you're interested in listening to the playback and how your audio sounds with your setup, you can go to YouTube and just put in my call and look for the playback for on today's date. And you look at about the 2-hour mark. You could just fast forward to there, and you can listen to the QSO and see how you sound on the air, Roger.
Oh, that'd be great. I have you up on K0RWB.com, and it says check out my YouTube channel, and it's lit up in red, but I can't hyperlink to it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I've taken it down and put it back up several times. What I've told people, you're better off just going to YouTube and just type in my call in the search bar, and it's probably a lot faster. I'm not sure why the hyperlink's not working. I'm not super computer savvy. The other 2 links are working just fine, but for some reason mine's just not doing it there, Roger.
Roger, well, I will definitely look into it and do that. I see that you spent a good part of your life in the military. Thank you for your service.
Well, Guy, the band changed or you dropped down in power. I wasn't able to copy but about every third word that last time around, Roger.
Yeah, I'm barely hearing you. I'm wondering if it's something on my end. I can't believe the band dropped out this quickly.
Yeah, it may be the band. The band could be changing, or maybe your apartment is turned a different direction. Or I'm not sure which, but we can try it one more time. But I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe this conditions.
Sorry that conditions aren't better because I left to extend this QSO.
Yeah, he kind of dropped out on us, Guy. I'm glad we got a chance to get in there. We have an opportunity to work. So I'll say 7-3s. Look forward to seeing your pictures. Like to see the shack set up. I'll say 7-3s for now. Whiskey Alpha 1, Golf Sierra, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. We'll be clear. And QRZ.
Whiskey Alpha 0, Roger Barry Whiskey, WA0RMW, San Diego.
The Whiskey Alpha 0, Romeo, question mark?
It's Whiskey Alpha 0, Roger Barry Whiskey, WA0RMW, just outside San Diego, California. Go ahead.
Okay, handle is Steve. Roger?
That's a Roger. Good to hear you. I know right where Page City, Missouri is. I grew up in Columbia. Go ahead.
Okay, fine business. I'm bringing the beam around, Steve. I'm glad you were able to hear me on the backside. I'm hoping that you'll come up in my receive. You were about 5 and 5 that time around. If I bring the beam around, hopefully you'll come up a little bit in my receive, and I'll come up in yours. Roger?
Yeah, very good. You're a good 5x5 here. Sometimes you've been bumping up to 5x9. The band is going up and down quite a bit. We're running an FTDX 3000 here, going to a brand new KPA 500 amplifier, and we do have a beam pointed off in your general direction. So back to you there, K0RWB, WA0RMW.
Yeah, you came up that time, Steve, real nice, 5.9 plus. Yeah, if the band will quieten down, we'd probably be all right. But I've been pretty fortunate so far this afternoon. I'm not going to complain. It has been a lot better than it was last week. But yeah, that's one thing I like about my beam. I can usually hear people 180 off and then bring it around. So you came back up on me, and so hopefully I'm a little stronger for you as well. And yeah, we copy Columbia. Been through there many, many, many times. I had a little short stint there at the university, and we had different philosophies. They wanted me to go to class, and I didn't know what that was. So we parted ways. My brother got his PhD at Columbia. So yeah, we're just up here in a little town of Bate City. You probably go past it all the time if you go from Columbia to Kansas City. We were just playing radio this afternoon, and we come out here about 2 o'clock Central every day during the week. And we also run a live stream on YouTube. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it there, Roger.
Very good. I've got your handle there as Randy. Is that correct? Go ahead.
Yep, it sure is. And the call K0 Romeo Whiskey Bravo, red, white, and blue there, Roger.
Very good. Well, we grew up in Columbia, graduated from the university there in 1972, and then lived in Wichita for about 10 years before coming out here to, to San Diego. But I used to drive through Kansas City at least once a month. I was in the Air Guard unit up in St. Joseph, working on KC-97 tankers there. So we're an electrical engineer here, or we're retired about 10 years ago, and run a small winery now here in a little town called Ramona, R-A-M-O-N-A, Ramona, California, just outside of San Diego. So I'm wondering what you're doing besides Hammond there. Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to say we're retired. That was official September of 17, and that lasted for about 10 days. And so we've started a business here out of our QTH, refurbishing, restoring, repairing used four-wheelers and side-by-sides. So we're playing with toys, and we're having a great time. So we do enjoy that. The wife is working from home with the pandemic and so forth. She's got a couple of years before she retires. But we're certainly enjoying life. And I see something on here about Keesler Air Force Base Amateur Radio Club. Were you stationed there at Keesler as well, or just part of the organization?
I was there at Keesler in, I guess it was the spring and summer of 1969. I was there for avionics school, and we left Keesler about 10 days before Hurricane Camille came through and devastated the place. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Interesting place there at Keesler. I think for some people it's a love-hate kind of thing. I've been there several times, enjoyed my time with it. But some people never really cared for it. Not sure which, but it is what it is. It's a experience I wouldn't change again. We served a little bit of time in the Air Force, right at 33 years. We figured that was enough, Roger.
Yeah, well, thank you for your service. Keesler, I very much enjoyed my stay there. I lived over in the Triangle area for a while and then got married and moved off base. And we were in an apartment building right downtown, right next to the main hotel there. I can't remember what it was called, or motel, right across Highway 90 from the beach. And like I say, we moved out 10 days before Hurricane Camille came through. I understand that the waves came up and knocked in the windows up to the third floor, and we were in a third-floor apartment facing out that way. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good thing you weren't there. That would be that wouldn't be good. Yeah, it's amazing that the surge would get that high. It's almost mind-boggling that things would get to that level. But Mother Nature has a plan, and sometimes it doesn't include us. We just have to kind of work around her, work through her there. But I'm glad I've got my headphones on currently, because when you said something about the winery and my wife was nearby, she would be on the air with you right now there, Roger.
Well, that's fine business. I appreciate wine lovers. We got interested in it back in early 2000, and when were retired, we had planted some grapes, and we decided it was time to make it into a small business. So we make about 300 cases of wine a year, and we sell it out of our own little tasting room. And enjoy it. It's a nice supplemental income, plus it gives us something to do. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's terrific. I was just going to ask you if you're at the commercial level. My wife, I would like to say that she's a connoisseur more than I am, and I'm sure if I mentioned this to her, she would be wanting to get a bottle or thereabouts. But I understand that you're doing it out of your local there, running it out of your QTH makes sense as well. I'm sure you've got a nice following, but yeah, it's interesting. We have a few around here as well, but we're always on the hunt for other places and other locations. And you know, interesting enough, and of course you know this, you're in that world, that it's a different taste depending on different locations there, Roger.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, growing up in Columbia, we were just about 60 miles from Herman. And I read a book not too long ago about the early wine industry in the United States. And back in the mid-1800s, Herman, Missouri was the center of winemaking in the United States, and was actually having some award-winning wines over in France and doing very well. Now, when I was a child, we would go down to Herman for the MyFest and the Oktoberfest and tour the mushroom caves, which were the wine aging caves at the Stonehill Winery there. Back then in the late 70s, I guess, it was after I had left the area, they redeveloped that wine industry. And we've been back a couple of times and done some touring along the Missouri River and other parts of the state, and there are some very, very nice wines coming out of Missouri. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very surprising, actually. There are, I think, 3 wineries within about 25 miles of our location. There's one to the north of us by the river, and then there's another one that's kind of north and east of us, and then there's another one that's south of us. My wife would know better than I would. And then Weston, Missouri, which is just north of the metro, off of 29. There's quite a few up in that area. So I think they do quite well. It's kind of like microbreweries years ago. You know, they would pop up like wildfire and do quite well and have a nice following. And some have gone from the wayside, unfortunate. I did like some of those, but I think, you know, some of the wineries here in the area have had a good degree of stability and have been around for a while. But yes, we know about Herman. It used to be the so-called epicenter for wine in the U.S. At one particular time, and then I think California kind of took that title, and I can certainly understand so, Roger.
Yeah, California did. Was a kind of a perfect storm of things that took Herman down and made California start to prosper. I'm wondering if the McCormick Distillery is still there in Weston. I can remember getting some of their spirits several years ago. Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe so. There was something in the news maybe last month or something, because Weston believe it or not, has a ski resort as well. I don't know if you want to call it. It's a big hill and range. It takes you about 20 seconds to get to the bottom, but that area has really developed, and there's several different wineries and distilleries in the area, and I think that was mentioned on the news broadcast as well. I didn't pay too much attention to initially, but I mean they're definitely well known in the area. So I wouldn't be 100%, but I'd be about 99%. Roger.
Yeah, very good. Well, anxious to go back. I've got a very good friend that lives up just east of St. Joe in Maysville. He and I went to high school together, and he's a doctor up there. And so we were supposed to go back for his 50th wedding anniversary a couple of years ago. They came out for ours that same year, and we couldn't make it because of the grape harvest, so we were going to go last spring, and then this whole pandemic thing shut everything down. So we'll be getting back there one of these days. And I like to get back to Columbia. My wife's from St. Louis, so we go back there every 5 or 6 years. It seems like we manage to get back. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's good. You know, it's nice to be able to come back to you know, some old stomping ground and so forth. We spent a lot of our time in Colorado on the Front Range between Denver and Colorado Springs, so we go back there a couple of times a year and have a chance to see old friends and so forth. And yeah, it kind of makes you appreciate where you are and where you used to be. So and a few stops in between military-wise. So we were stationed there as well. So one of the better places that we were fortunate to be to. So but you know, that's another story for another day. But Steve, I'm gonna have to shut it down here. I got a tap on the shoulder. You get one tap, and then 10 minutes later you get a second tap on the shoulder. And if you don't get answered, then you get the slap on the side of the head. And I've only happened that happen once, and I don't want it to happen again. So I have a feeling I'm being beckoned for something else. About 4:15 my time. That's usually about when that happens anyway. But did want to get a chance to work you. I'm glad I got the beam switched around. Signals have come up quite a bit. You've been 5.9 plus, which is really nice. Nice the chance to have a chat with you, especially being a Columbia area a subplantee, so to speak. And hope things go well for you out there, and hope the business will pick up. And I would like to think that we're getting kind of over the curve on the pandemic as well. But did want to have a chance to speak with you, and I appreciate that. I don't see a contact on my log, so thank you for the first one. And I look forward to working you again. Again, if you're interested, we're doing a live stream on YouTube. If you want to come back and listen to the playback on our QSO, just go to YouTube, put in my call, K0RWB, and go about the 2-hour, 10-minute mark. Fast forward and listen to our QC, how it sound on the air. And it's kind of fun. That's what I've been doing here for the last 6 weeks and having a great time. I'll do my part and let you finish it up on yours. Whiskey Alpha Zero, Romeo Mike Whiskey, Kilowatt Zero, Radio Whiskey Bravo, 7-3s.
Very good, Randy. Well, it's been a delight talking to you. It's been almost like going home. And we will go out and take a listen to that on the YouTube there. That sounds fascinating. See what that all sounds like. So anyway, it's been really good talking to you. Say hi to your wife for me, and appreciate her letting you make the QSO here. By the way, if you want to go out and take a look on the web, look at woofenrose.com. That's WOOFNROSE.com. That's our winery website, so you can get some pictures of what it looks like out here with the vines and everything. Anyway, 73s to you there, and been great talking to you. K0RWB, this is WA0RMW clear.
Yeah. I was just going to ask about that, so I'm glad you mentioned that. I just wrote it down here on my little logbook, and I'll take a look at it later. And I have a feeling I have a feeling the wife will want to know if you ship. So, but no, thank you for the info, and we'll definitely give it a look. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week coming up. Whiskey Alpha Zero, Romeo Mike Whiskey, Kilowatt Zero, Radio Whiskey Bravo, 7-3s.
7-3s, WA0RMW clear.
Okay, well, 7-3s. I got time for one more call, and then we'll have to shut it down. We'll see if we have any 6 or 7 call here since we're pointed out west. K0RWB in Kansas City, QRZ.
KB7 WHO.
W7KQJ.
Kilo Bravo 7 and question mark again, please.
Kilo Bravo 7 Whiskey Hotel
Southern Arizona.
Okay, I think I've got it there. Another station at the same time. Kilo Bravo 7 Whiskey Hotel question mark.
Kilo Bravo 7 Whiskey Hotel Oscar.
Okay, Ken, I got it that time. Do apologize. Kilo Bravo 7 Hotel Whiskey Hotel Oscar. Got you that time. Thanks for coming back with the call. The handle here is Randy, 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City. I wanted to end it on a good note, and we got back out here in the West Coast. How are things in your part of the world today? Go ahead.
It's starting to look like spring, and it's sunny and clear.
Yeah, fine business. Let me move the beam up around your direction a little bit. If the map is correct, around Sugar City, Roger?
That is correct, right next to the Teton River.
Okay, fine business. Yeah, I brought the beam up a little bit. You came up on my receive there, right at 5 and 9 in my receive. Hopefully I came up in yours as well, Roger?
Very clear, 5 by 9. Could I get your call sign again?
Yeah, you bet. The call is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, red, white, and blue. And the handle here is Randy. We're 35 miles east of Kansas City, Missouri. Go ahead.
Copy. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to somebody for a minute. And don't have much else to say.
Okay. It sounds as though that spring is coming your direction. Is that a Roger?
Affirmative. We've gone from 24 inches out on the ground down to 17 with some bare grass where I have shoveled some snow away.
Yeah, that's terrific. You know, I've been talking to many operators this last several weeks, and I think we're all in agreement it was probably time. We've gone from sub-zero temperatures to July almost, mid to upper 60s, lower 70s. We got 73 today in sun. It sounds, I'd like to think we've kind of crossed over. And, of course, you know, March and April can be really crazy here in the Midwest between snow, thunderstorms, tornadoes, and so forth. But if the temperatures kind of get a little bit better, it allows us to go back to shorts and T-shirts. Roger?
Roger that. I am excited about being able to work in the garden. I've still got 17 inches of snow to go, though.
Oh, no. Well, hopefully that's just in certain areas. It's not covered completely across, Roger?
Yeah, it's pretty solid all the way across, but it'll disappear here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, you know, of course, that runoff, I would assume, goes to the local rivers and does help with the pastures and the open ground. So it'll get used somehow. Yeah, you know, like I said, March can be really crazy. At least it can for us here. I didn't anticipate this as quickly as it did. I'm not going to say no. I did not like the sub-zero temperatures. Rather unusual for us to be like that here, you know, being central U.S., but we didn't have any control over it. We did have to work through it, but we're certainly glad we've got the weather we have now. Roger?
I am too. And the water that falls here ends up in the Snake River eventually, and then it goes all the way to the Pacific coast and gets used all the way, soaked into the ground, and then we pump it out for the farms locally.
Yeah, that's nice that everything gets used. Kind of works that way here as well. We don't do a lot of irrigation. We do get you know, fairly good amount. Snowfall averages about 21 to 24 inches here, and rain averages around 18 to 21 to 22 inches per year. So we do fairly well here, central U.S. I'd be curious, real quick. The audio is really just got a terrific little sound and punch to it. If you wouldn't mind giving me the work conditions, I'm really curious about what you're running there. Go ahead.
I'm running an IC 7300 with a Cushcraft R5 vertical antenna, and that's it.
Well, you know, sometimes simplicity is a great thing. I'm beginning to wonder sometimes why my electric bill is so high running the amplifier, but you know, when conditions are good, you can talk anywhere, and when they're not, you can't talk across the street.
My vertical does pretty well on transmit. Doesn't do so well on receive, but I'm not going to be picky. It does what I need.
Yeah, you know, that's the main thing. You know, as long as it meets the operator's expectations, you know, that's the good thing. I don't get into your part of the world too often. I'm nice to see that the band is open It has been fairly well today for me. Sometimes being central U.S. can be a bad thing, but today it's worked out really well. We've been up and down the eastern seaboard. Not too many here centrally, but we have done Arizona, California a few times now, Idaho. So it's really nice to see that the band has been open. And generally speaking, most stations have had really terrific signals. We haven't had to work too hard to hear them. And yours is the same way as well. Nice solid signal. And I'm glad to see that the conditions are better to get back on the air. Roger.
I agree. It's kind of fun to be able to talk once in a while. I'm not much of a talker, but I sure like to play with the antennas and radio, and I don't do much with HF in the wintertime because of the weather, but I've got a couple of things I'd like to try this summer. Yeah, I've talked to several people, and I think they're kind of all in agreement. I've tried a few stints at maybe making some antennas with limited success. I've had a few that worked out well and some that haven't. I generally leave it to the experts. I have made a few dipoles, which is relatively simple. They seem to work pretty well, and on 6 through 20, we do operate a hex beam. That's what we're on right now, and we've had terrific success with that since about 2012, and it has certainly done everything I want. It is nice to be able to direct your signal sometimes, but it is rather broadbanded, so not too often do we miss or not hear a station. But having said that, if I hear them, I can generally work, and that's a nice thing as well. And we haven't been on the air much in the last several years. We come back in November when the band seemed to get a little bit better, and we just have a wonderful time, and we get a chance to make some contacts in the afternoon, and enjoy doing that since we've retired there, Roger. Just listen and scan, and every once in a while I tell myself, you really need to do something with that thing that you've got there you listen to. No, I believe it or not, I'm that way sometime as well. I'll come in the evenings and just turn it on and be working on the computer or something and have it in the background listening to rag chews or what have you, and we do enjoy that as well. In the afternoons during the week, 2 o'clock Central, we are generally on the air here because we do a live stream on YouTube, which is what we're doing now. And so we do need to talk, and we like to make contact with other stations and so forth. And some have interest in watching the live stream and what have you. But we had some time today again, so we want to do that. I've gotten the single tap on the shoulder, and I've gotten the second tap, and the third one is a slap upside the head. So I need to run, unfortunately, Ken. But I'm glad we had a chance to work, and I'm glad that you gave me a call today. And it's nice to have a contact into Idaho for sure, and hope we can do it again. I do want to say 7-3s to you. I do need to run, but thank you so much, and I look forward to the next time around. Kilo Bravo 7, Whiskey Hotel Oscar, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. Thank you again, 7-3s. 73 from sunny Idaho, KB7 WHO clear. Okay, 7-3s. This is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. We're going to be clear and QRT.